Hey everybody, this is Dan for Gaming D on Cars. Happy New Year. Today's January 2nd. It was raining all day yesterday on the New Year's Day. Now we're starting off 2021 with a really special car here today. I have this as a loaner. This is a 2021 Audi Q8. And in my mind, I think this is the best looking SUV on the market. When I think of the best looking SUVs, I think of like a Range Rover Velar. I think this is better than like a Rolls-Royce Cullinan, Porsche Cayenne Coupe. I just think the lines of this is just absolutely beautiful. Audi has really been hitting it out of the park with the design. So we're going to take a look at this car. We're going to go over the styling, the specs. We're going to get this thing out on the road. We're starting off 2021 with an awesome car here. So let's take a look at the Audi Q8. Now this car is in a segment with the BMW X6 and the Mercedes-Benz GLE Coupe, I guess they call it. And really it's just they took their midsize SUV and they sort of made it more sexy looking. I mean, this is built on the Audi Q7 chassis and it definitely feels like it, but the rear legroom of this car is bigger than an Audi Q7. My buddy that has one says, yeah, this is just way more space in the back. But out of those three cars, this, the X6 and the GLE Coupe, this is by far the best looking. They didn't really try to make it look too sleek. They just sort of stuck with the typical Audi design and just made it a good looking car. They now have the full light bar going across the back, which is an Audi and Porsche thing now. I guess in this exact spot I reviewed an Audi e-tron which has that. But yeah, I just think everything about this car screams like elegance and it's just a gorgeous car. Now this car has a 3-liter V6 engine, 335 horsepower. It's pretty heavy. That's the only thing I notice when I drive this car is that it's heavy. I mean, I guess I'm used to driving a Q5, obviously, which is smaller and lighter, not as much power and everything. But the design of this car is what really stands out. So let's talk about the design. All right, before we talk about the styling, I have to mention this car is expensive. Now, this car, as it starts, it's $13,000 more than a Q7, which is bigger. It has a 3-row. It's sort of like the Porsche thing where, okay, you have a 911, then you take a 911 GT3, give it less stuff on the inside, more power, and it costs way more. So this car, as it sits right here, is $86,000. It actually has the $10,000 black optic package, which makes everything, all the badges and everything right there blacked out. But it looks so good. I mean, having a chrome grille like that would not look as, aesthetically pleasing. But yeah, it is an expensive car, $86,000, but it looks the part. So let's talk about the styling. Now, last night when it was pouring down rain, I did a video just talking about the lights of this car because they are pretty special. But when you take the key here and you're walking up to the car and hit the unlock button, they do a little dance right there. I mean, that is just so cool. Now, that is what the LEDs look like, the daytime running lights, just sort of those little hashes here. Let's just try that again. It just does a little dance there. I think it's pretty cool. The back does the dance too. But yeah, this is the subtle, LEDs of this car. Now, just look at the stance of this car. I mean, the front looks good with the grille. I mean, obviously this is a huge grille, but it looks good with the black optic package, which has all the trim in black. Now, the headlights of this car is kind of interesting because there's the main headlight right there, and the reflector is within the headlight housing right there. Usually you put a reflector out on the bumper there, and this is the high beams right there. That's your normal headlights and LEDs. And when this car came out, people were sort of like, what is this little black box right there? It just sort of it just continues the design, but how this sort of body painted color came in, it just looks sort of weird. But in this black optic package, it looks really good. Now, I will stick to my opinion when I say that these right there, these just black boxes they put there for the radar cruise control, I don't think it looks very good. I almost think it would have been better either just to hide something down in the middle, and BMW does this very good. They have like just a circle in the middle there. But I just think, I don't know. I mean, it goes along with the theme of like the checkerboard pattern there. There's your camera right there to look forward. but it just looks, I don't know, even if it didn't have the black optic package, it would look a little funky. But yeah, moving around the side, and I have to say this color is really one of the nicest blues I've seen in a long time. It's called Navara Blue. It is just beautiful. It looks good with the red calipers. You got big 22-inch wheels right here in the typical Audi design. It just looks so good. Now, the other cars, the X6 and the GLE Coupe, they are so like sloped and sleek looking back here, and Audi did not sort of do that. They just sort of went with their typical styling they use for cars. I think the angle that they use right here is sort of like an homage to like the Audi Quattro of the 80s. But yeah, now moving around to the back styling. Here is the full light bar. We're gonna do the dance again. Okay, it doesn't do the dance every time. But yeah, this is now the Audi design language along with Porsche with the full light bar along the back. Now I said in the other video too, there's sort of like some depth to the lights right there. That light bar sort of sticks out and there's a little indentation right there. It just gives it a little bit more substance to it. But yeah, it just looks so good. Now, in typical Audi fashion, and I don't even care in this application, they sort of have the fake exhaust right there, but you know what? It's in black. It doesn't look as bad. Yeah, I'm okay with it. I know I've said famously in my car, I hate the fake exhaust on the Q5, and I still stand by that. But yeah, just look at the rear three-quarter view of this car. I'm sticking to my opinion here. I really do think this is one of the best looking SUVs on the market. The Lamborghini Urus is even built on this chassis, but this is way better looking than that. That has too many angles, and this is just a clean, simple design that really just works. So yeah, as far as the design goes, beautiful. All right, now here is the power plant of the Q8. Like I said, this is a 3-liter V6, 335 horsepower. This car goes 0 to 60 in about 5.7 seconds, which is not bad at all. I mean, this is a 5,000-pound SUV, which is not light on its toes here, but this is the engine right there, covered up with a industry standard plastic cover. Yeah, big ups to Audi just to do the hydraulic lifts. You know, this is a luxury car. You know, $86,000, it better have that. So yeah, that is the engine right there. All right, now let's take a look where the elegance continues on the interior. Okay, I lied. Before we go into the interior, we're going to check out the trunk here. Now, obviously, you have a double click here. Now, the space in the back here, I think, is pretty big, and I will flash on the screen how this compares with the X6 and the GLE Coupe. But it is pretty big. I mean, this is something from the dealer. I don't know what it is, maybe roof racks or something. But it is pretty big. I think as this is a 2-row SUV, I think the Q7 behind the 3rd row would be way less space. But I mean, if you're somebody that doesn't have a huge family and this is obviously your main luxury car, this is pretty big space, you know, to fit a bunch of stuff. You got nice little LED lights on each side. Nice little cover right there. So yeah, I think this is pretty adequate. I mean, if you're buying a car like this, you know, you're gonna need some space, you know, to travel with your kids. You know, you can put your 2 kids in the back seat and carry everything you need back with you. So this is pretty adequate. So yeah, that is the trunk. All right, now let's take a look at the interior. All right, we're going on the inside of the Q8. Now, one thing I haven't seen in a car in a while, this car has the frameless doors. Looks pretty good. If you put the window down, you just got a straight up door. But now, going into the inside. Now, this is where things continue to be pretty nice. Now, all Audis with the current design language have the dual screens right here. We're gonna continue as guest. And so, the only gripe I have with this interior, honestly, the only gripe is that you have fingerprints all over these screens, and there's actually a mode where you can go into the car where you can turn both of the screens off, you know, to clean the screen. But you still have the Audi virtual cockpit, which we'll turn on in a second, and this main screen is for your navigation and music, and this screen is for your HVAC controls. But Audi, I think they're continuing in the right direction because they have the vents sort of going across the whole way, sort of like a seamless design right there. But they do a piano black trim right here, just to blends into the screen very nicely. I mean, what do you put in this area right here? Nothing really, because everything is controlled right here. Same with there. It's just a nice way to not busy it up. It just blends into the screen right there. And down here, you've got the same nice wood trim. Now, I love this wood. It's called like an open pore wood. It just looks really good. I'm okay with the black interior. I think a tan interior would look really good with that blue color exterior. but I'm okay with it. The wood looks so nice. And in my other video, I talked about the ambient lighting, which goes along the dash here and on there and around the door. So let's start it up. Foot on the brake. All right, so this is the virtual cockpit. Now, I've said this many times. I love the virtual cockpit. That is one of my favorite aspects of my Audi. You can do a bunch of different things. Now, on the steering wheel right here, you can go between the different modes, and you can have a bunch of different things on that screen and this screen. So if it was me, okay, there's the nav system. Now you can go hit the view button right here to make it go bigger, bigger and smaller. So that is the nav option right there. And this is the one what I would use on this screen. On this screen, I would have the music like I have right here. And on this one, I would have the navigation. But you can have your phone, everything big or small, big or small. You can have your music right there or your sort of trip odometers. And I like how Audi calls it short-term memory and long-term memory as far as like trip A, trip B. You just mess with the toggles right there. But on this screen, you can make them big and small, big and small. Yeah, it just works. And this updated font of the speedometer and tachometer looks really good. So on this screen, you hit the home button and everything sort of has like a haptic touch. It's almost like you're clicking on a mouse trackpad on your computer. Like you can't just click, boom. You have to really press and click, which is okay. Now the same thing on the bottom screen. Now one cool thing when you're on the nav screen and you want to type in your destination, so select destination. Let's see. And you hit search, where would you like to go? And down on this screen you can write. So we're gonna go to Irene Drive. Just type it in with my finger and let's see if she gets it.
I-R-E-N-E.
There it is right there, Irene Drive. You just click on it right there and that'll take you to your destination. Start. So I just think that's a cool way to integrate the two screens. Now, when you don't have the navigation system on, this is the HVAC controls. Now, everything is still a haptic touch. Now, instead of going one by one, if you click over, you can go do the wide range right there, which is kind of cool. This is all the buttons to do everything else. So it works, but like I said, the only thing that I wouldn't like is just all the fingerprints you get on the car. So there's the typical 3 tiles where you can choose between a bunch of different things. So aside from that, the materials are nice. There's beautiful stitching up in the front. I talked about the wood. I mean, I don't have a bad thing to say about the interior. This is the same steering wheel as my Audi Q5. It works. It just feels good in your hand. We got an 8-speed automatic transmission with the paddle shifters. We do have the Audi Drive Select. You can go through a bunch of different drive modes: off-road, comfort, auto, dynamic. We'll definitely be going in dynamic when we get this out on the road. So, I mean, the only other gripe I might have is that these cup holders seem a little bit small, but really you're just splitting hairs. I mean, this armrest can adjust to go forward and back. You have your wireless charger in there. So yeah, it works. Everything is beautiful. The materials are nice, and I really enjoy this interior. So let's check out the back seat. All right, we're checking out the back seat now, just to get an idea of like how big this is. I mean, you see how big this car is. It is not a small car. But the back seat room is just massive. I'm gonna move that to the side right there and come back in. Now this is where I had the seat where I was driving. I'm 6 feet tall, and look at that. I have like 3, 4, 5 inches of space back there. It's just big. I mean, you would not be sacrificing space, you know, instead of a third row. I mean, personally, I would get this car over a Q7. Maybe. I mean, the price is a lot more, but it is a more attractive car. There's where you can just see both the screens and everything. It looks really nice. Now this screen right here has like full digital display. You can go through all your HVAC controls, heated seats and everything. And the other thing is, I think you can move these seats up. Yeah, look at that. I'm moving up just to even get more space. I think you can do it on that one too right there. So, I mean, this is another plus to this car is the backseat legroom, which is more than a Q7, which is the bump up, the bigger car. I mean, you have, look, there's the frameless door right there. You have these sort of privacy peasant blockers, they could be called, on that side too. I mean, I didn't even mention about the panoramic sunroof, which is huge and nice to have. And Audi has the typical shade that goes over the whole thing. So yeah, this is super comfortable. I'm 6 feet tall and I have plenty of space back here. So this car, you know, continues to impress. All right, so this is gonna wrap up my quick little walk around of this. This is a 2021 Audi Q8. This is really a special car. I mean, best looking car in its segment. I would take this over an X6 or a GLE coupe, definitely, I think. So we're gonna get this thing on the road. Leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think about the Q8. Audi continues their hot streak. I really like this car. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. See ya.